The leaf. At the very end of the park stood the oldest tree. Ironically, this corner was the most neglected. Beneath the thick branches of the oak, a worn-out bench stood. Its uninviting state did not deter a young couple, quietly chatting about all sorts of nonsense. Their gentle conversation was suddenly interrupted when a leaf slowly descended onto the girl's head. The boy hesitated for a moment, staring at it in surprise. Then, suddenly, the couple burst into laughter. Their cheerful giggles startled a few birds in the bushes. "I love you," the boy whispered, brushing the yellowed leaf from his beloved's hair. The wind caught it with a strong gust. The oak leaf circled around the young lovers, only to land on the light-haired girl again. But she didn't feel its touch at that moment. She was giving her first kiss to the boy she loved. Finally, the leaf let go just as the birds returned to their bush, where they were building a nest. The autumn breeze played with the fallen leaves all evening. As darkness crept in, a musician arrived at his usual spot. A violin filled the park with romantic melodies, its notes weaving through the cool evening air. On the old battered bench beneath the oak, a young music academy student sat. The music soothed him after a long, unsuccessful day. His enchanted gaze drifted upward, watching the old oak sway lazily. He didn't want to move, but the curiosity to see his fellow musician compelled him to rise. Smiling, he dropped a small bill into the violinist's cardboard box. By the time night had fully settled in, most couples had already taken their children home, and the musician was counting his earnings. "What's this?" he murmured, surprised to find an unusual leaf among the money. One side of it was yellow, the other green. The violinist examined it closely. To his surprise, it carried the faint scent of women's perfume. "Fly on," he whispered and let the leaf go. Not far away, a well-dressed woman was hurrying home with her young son. The wind was picking up, and she wanted to get him inside before he caught a cold. "Mom, look!" the little boy exclaimed. In his tiny hands, the same leaf trembled. The one that had once landed on a young girl's head ended up in the violinist's box, and now, with its unusual coloring, fascinated a small child. "Mom, can I keep it?" "You can," she agreed, gently pulling her son along toward home. And so, the leaf found itself between the pages of a cookbook, one that was only opened a few times a year. Time stopped for it. No wind would carry it away now, no street cleaner would sweep it into a pile, and it would not decay in the damp earth, at least, not for a while. Who knows how many years passed, maybe 10, maybe 20, when a first-year university student stumbled upon the leaf while flipping through an old cookbook she had bought at a flea market. She would never know that this very oak leaf had once been taken from her mother's hair by her father, that her favorite composer had unknowingly tossed it into a street musician's cardboard box that same day, that her first schoolteacher had once picked it up and asked her mother to keep it safe. The student simply discarded the useless thing. For the first time in many years, the fragile oak leaf lay on the ground. No one would notice it. No one would pick it up. Just like people become invisible when they grow old, when no one needs them anymore. They wither with age, and those around them never realize how deeply their fate is intertwined with that of a fragile, withered soul.